Thanks for tuning in. Hi, I'm Jeff Blumber with HXGN TV, and today we have Rick Allen, who is president of CADWorx Analysis Solutions, and Billy Rasco, who is the vice president of sales at CADWorx Analysis and Solutions, with us to discuss industry trends in engineering. We appreciate you taking time to join us today, Billy and Rick. So let's start with some breaking news. It's just been announced that you've acquired DST, the maker of pipe stress. Rick, why did you make that acquisition?
Well, we're very excited about the acquisition of DST because they bring with us an excellent application called pipe stress. Several years ago, I would say about 5 years ago, we did a study internally where we were looking at Caesar 2 and its readiness for the various markets in the industries. One of the things we identified was in the nuclear market, we did not serve class 1 pipe. You could do class 2 pipe, class 3 pipe. So we went ahead and we nuclear certified Caesar 2 for class 2 and class 3 pipe. But we still didn't have class 1. But during that time, we were also evaluating the cost to build class 1 capabilities inside of Caesar 2 versus going out and buying that capability. And so during that process, we identified DST and pipe stress as a potential acquisition, somebody that can meet those requirements. And so we started discussions with them. We also found out that they brought all of the historical codes that people had been using in nuclear power and petrochemical plants and really all the different areas that the analysis tools are used. They brought all those codes back from the 1970s. So, with Caesar 2, you could go run codes in the 70s and 80s, but you have to go run the old code, the old software. When you get a new version of Caesar 2, it has the latest codes in it, and we don't maintain that history. Pipe stress did maintain that history. So by bringing this in, we'll also get that capability as well. The third thing that it brings to us is it brings us the market share. It brings us the same customers that are GT Strudel customers, which is also a nuclear certified civil structure that's heavily used in the nuclear industry, where they're also using the pipe stress. So those same customers, we don't have to go out there and compete against DST. They've now become our customers as well. So overall, I think it makes for a very good acquisition for Intergraph and a very good story for our customers and the ability to move forward, and it gives them also a comfort that their use and life of pipe stress will be around for a long time.
And Billy, what does this acquisition mean for the Hexagon customers?
I believe for our customers, it resolves our commitment to the nuclear industry, so they should feel secure in that commitment to them in that industry. It also, they should be thankful for the combination of these two teams. They're both highly intelligent, highly motivated, and competitive teams, and we'll be bringing them together for future products, for future development, and so I think it helps the future of that industry and those clients in that industry.
So hopefully next time, we'll have a lot more information to share at the conference next year.
So tell me about the latest CADWorx announcement that it's now available on BricsCAD. Rick, what led you to work with Brixis to make this happen?
Well, that's about the same time we were doing the study on Caesar 2, we also did a study on CADWorx and looking at alternate platforms, not to drop the Autodesk or AutoCAD platform, but to give our customers alternatives, to give them choices. And at the time, we looked at a number of different DWG engines. None of them were really suitable. They didn't have the capabilities. Most of them didn't have the ARX capabilities that we needed to be able to recompile CADWorx on top of their platform. About 2 years ago, I did an interview in Japan with one of the graphics magazines. And they asked me that question, are you going to look at alternatives to CADWorx for AutoCAD? And so it made me go back and re-look that study we did before. So we went and redid it again. And lo and behold, the team at Brixis had spent a considerable amount of time improving the API for ARX, as well as the other APIs inside of their application, that we were then now a very viable platform. And it just took us really a relatively short period of time to be able to convert and be able to offer CADWorx on top of both BricsCAD as well as AutoCAD. Now what does it mean for our customers? Well, they have a choice. They can run BricsCAD or they can run AutoCAD. The choice is theirs.
And Billy, what are you hearing from customers about their using BricsCAD?
Oh, we've had overwhelming agreement with the decision to develop CADWorx on the BricsCAD platform. Customers are extremely satisfied. They're telling us that the time they spend learning the BricsCAD environment is almost none. It has a very shallow learning curve for them to make that change, the ones that have, which we expected. We did our homework, we looked at the interfaces, and we really did understand that BricsCAD was, basically looked a lot like AutoCAD to an end user. So end users have been very happy and responded very positive to that. One of the things that we've heard from clients that we didn't expect, maybe we should have, but the clients have come back and said that they can actually tell a difference in the manipulation of 3D models inside of BricsCAD. So there's a marked speed improvement with running CADWorx on BricsCAD. So that was kind of a surprise to us. But probably the most positive impact or conversation we've had with clients is clients are really happy that they have the ability to purchase a perpetual seat of software, and they're not forced into a lease or a subscription model, which they're very opposed to at this point in time. So I think it's been very positive all the way around. And it was very fortuitous that the question came up for Rick, and we decided to move forward with that development. And that was something that we weren't expecting, as Autodesk to change their pricing model and their to a subscription model, but I think that's helpful to clients as well as us.
Yeah, I think it was very fortuitous that while we were in the middle of our project, Autodesk changed their licensing scheme, which really generated a lot of interest on this project, even more than we would have expected initially.
And Rick, can you tell me about the new Japanese codes in Caesar 2 and how that affects clients?
Well, if you recall, several years ago, there was a serious nuclear accident at Fukushima in Japan. That prompted new regulations in Japan that all of the plants, not just nuclear plants, but chemical plants, petrochemical plants, refineries, any of those plants had to go back and do a rigorous seismic analysis should such an event occur near their plant. As part of that, we were able to quickly release KHK Level 1. And I'm happy to report on the next release of Caesar 2, coming out in July, we'll be releasing KHK Level 2. It's already in beta testing in Japan. We've had very positive feedback from our customers, and we hope to serve the Japanese market for a long time.
And Billy, Caesar 2 now offers compliance with the B31J standards. How does this underscore the relevance of the software to the industry?
Well, our analysis products are code-based products, so Caesar lives by the codes. Unfortunately or fortunately, the codes are historically conservative in nature, and probably should be. What B31J means to our Caesar 2 clients is they are able to take a more aggressive approach to their analysis and have a more refined analysis using the B31J numbers that are now available in that code, so that it specifically applies to piping that is a large main size and a small branch size, and where there is a discrepancy in the stiffness of that piping system in the old code. The B31J code actually addresses that and allows for flexibility that in the past the code wouldn't have shown. So it helps clients in that they can not spend time or waste time fixing a problem that really doesn't exist in their piping system. They don't have to go back out into the field and build a support structure and purchase materials to build that support structure or that flexibility into their piping system. So all in all, the B31J code is extremely helpful to the industry and our clients.
So your analysis solutions are integrated with both sides of the Hexagon PPM design software, both Smart 3D and CADWorx. What does that mean for customers, Billy?
Oh, the integrated solution is the holy grail of our industry, and I don't mean that in the Monty Python holy grail frame of mind. It's the basis, the holy grail for our business model. Since our second product, we started talking about how can these products talk to each other. Integrated solution means that pressure vessel analysis running PV Elite can design his vessel, can modify it to codes, to meet his codes, and till he's happy with it. He can put the nozzles in the direction and the elevation he wants with repads, with supporting mechanisms, and he can meet his needs. But that model can then be passed over to the design group, whether it's CADWorx or whether it's Smart 3D. And that end user can then take that model. He doesn't have to recreate the model. He takes the model from the pressure vessel engineer. He models his piping up, which okay, having that model at hand saves him, let's say 30 minutes if he's really good, right? If he's not so good, maybe an hour. So it saves his time. He's able to more accurately model his piping system in CADWorx, in SmartPlant. He can then take that model, so we saved him time from the pressure vessel to the designer, but now the designer can pass his model over to Caesar 2. And the pipe stress engineer can then not have to reproduce that model for Caesar 2 to run the pipe stress analysis. So again, we've saved another 30 minutes to an hour. The models are more accurate, they're more precise, and being able to design once and reuse is, like I said, the holy grail of our business model. And that greatly enhances the client's time and cost savings on projects if they take advantage of it.
In fact, let me give you an example. We have a case study that we share with our clients. It's a typical a chemical plant. In that chemical plant, there are 250 different piping systems. Those piping systems, out of that, about 70% have to be analyzed for pipe stress, primarily because the temperature and pressures in which they're operating or the service that they're providing, and it's required to be able to operate the plant. So somebody who wants to do analysis on that has to model all those pipes. But if they have the 3D model coming from either S3D or from CADWorx, then you can bring that in. You reduce the transition errors, there's the typing errors, all those things are eliminated because we're electronically bringing the data into Caesar 2. You reduce about 70% of the amount of time someone would be spent on doing modeling. So if you take the 250 pipes times the 70% times the 70% about the time that you would take to do this, multiply it times your labor cost, on a typical plant, you're saving $250,000. So that's a significant amount of money your customers get to save on this. So these integration points that we built into Caesar 2 are really, really great time savers. Another one, if we go back to the B31J example, we also have a button inside of Caesar 2 that does a translation from Caesar 2 into a product called Field Pipe from Pollen Research Group. We've worked with Pollen Research Group.
FEA Tools. FEA Tools.
Oh, I'm sorry, FEA Tools. What did I say?
Field Pipe.
Field Pipe, sorry, another application. So FEA Tools. So we work with them with FEA Tools. FEA Tools can take the geometry from Caesar 2, bring it in, as well as some load conditions and everything else from Caesar 2, bring it into FEA Tools. They do a finite element analysis on that, and they're able to accurately get stiffness and flexibility factors calculated through the finite element, which is allowed by B31J to bring improved information back into the code-based analysis. They import that back to Caesar with a simply push of a button, and they're able to rerun Caesar 2. Again, allowing them to not have to solve a problem that doesn't exist. It means a lot for them in the amount of piping, the type of components they buy. They can buy with less materials, and all that. It results in ultimately in savings, which is the one of the reasons. People not only want to run safely, but they also want to run very cost efficiently.
And Rick, you deal with customers from all around the world. What do you see in the oil and gas industry right now?
Well, it has been difficult as oil has dropped up and down, but we've seen booms and busts. Currently people are learning how to make money at $45, $50 a barrel. Okay, and how are they doing this? They're doing with automation. They're doing with automation and robots, and they're drilling and how they're exploring. They're looking at technology, and I think the companies that adopt technology are going to be having an advantage over those that don't. And so while you're down and while it's slow, take your A-teams, have them go out and look at this advanced technology, look at the things that we offer, and yeah, sure, it may cost you a little bit of money, maybe a couple of man-months of those people's time, but isn't it better to have them spend something so that you'll be faster and more efficient in the future?
And Billy, how can your solutions help customers in these trying times?
Oh, wow. Well, like Rick said, the price of oil is down, and this is something that we've seen across the industry. It's cyclic. It happens quite often. What happens is projects get canceled, get postponed, and we've seen huge layoffs in the industry. So there's a knowledge base that's leaving, and how can we help, and how are we helping? Number one, we have our products that are very easy, open, and scalable. Easy in the ability to install and be up and running. They're easy to learn, quickly learn. So as you bring an old workforce back in, it's easy to spool them up, or it's easy to train new people. It's open in that they work together, and they can also work through customizations and with other products, third-party products. and they're scalable in that they allow you to start with a smaller project or maybe a lower budget project and then grow over time to larger projects with more money. That's one way we help, and we've always helped. Something that's a little less visible maybe in the last few releases of our products is, CADWorx in particular, we have worked to make the product more accessible and more usable in other industries other than the oil and gas industry. We've worked with specific vendors to develop catalogs and components and end types so that the CADWorx product can be used in pharmaceutical plants or food and beverage plants, even semiconductor. And we've had a lot of success in those industries, but those industries have projects that are not tied to the price of oil. So how we help clients there is they can actually broaden their scope and what they actually do. If they want to try to level out the peaks and valleys of the oil and gas business, they get involved in other projects. And so that's another way that we help clients. It's really their choice. Do they stay in the oil and gas business or do they branch out? So I like to think that that's really important to them, is to try to maintain their workforce and to go forward with projects at all times.
Well, big thank you to our guests today, Billy Rasco and Rick Allen. For more information about today's topic, visit hexagonppm.com. To watch additional episodes or learn more, visit hxgntv.com. Thanks for tuning in.